Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Book Notification Podcast, your go-to source for this week's new book releases. Today, we're looking at some of our most anticipated books coming out during the week of March 3rd to the 9th. Of course, with over 450 new books being released this week, there is no way we could cover them all. This is just a tiny fraction of the releases. Visit booknotification.com to explore the full list of this week's new books. You can also follow your favorite authors so you'll be the first to know when their next book is available. As always, we have 10 books to highlight releasing this week with a little something for everybody. Let's get into it. First off, we have The Last Days of Kira Mullan, a standalone novel from one of the masters of suspense, Nicci French. Nancy North is ready to rebuild her life after a psychotic break derailed everything. Moving into a new flat with her supportive partner Felix, she's committed to recovery. But when the eerie voices that triggered her breakdown return, followed by the suspicious death of her neighbor, Kira, Nancy fears something sinister is at play. Everyone insists it was suicide, but can she trust her instincts? Or is her mind betraying her again? Detective Inspector Maud O'Connor isn't convinced either. While her colleagues rush to close the case, Maud sees holes in their story. As tensions rise and reality blurs, she must uncover the truth before it's buried for good. The Last Days of Kira Mullan thrills on March 4th. Unafraid by Nyssa Kathryn is a small-town, friends-to-lovers romantic suspense novel. Aspen Davies moves to Amber Ridge for a fresh start, away from her controlling mother, her dangerous ex, and definitely not for Jesse Hayes. He's just a friend, a housemate, and absolutely off limits. Or so she keeps telling herself. Recently discharged from the military, Jesse never expected to share his home, let alone with someone as tempting as Aspen. But when her past catches up to her, keeping his distance is no longer an option. With the relentless enemy closing in, Jesse will do whatever it takes to keep Aspen safe. Because this fight is personal. Unafraid will be released on March 7th. I Leave It Up to You is a standalone novel by Jinwoo Chong about love, family, and the art of sushi. After 2 years in a coma, Jack Jr. wakes to a world that has moved on without him. His job, home, and the love of his life are gone, leaving him with nowhere to turn but back to his family in Fort Lee, New Jersey. There, he's thrust into the struggling sushi restaurant he once abandoned, forced to confront the expectations he fled from and the relationships he left behind. As he relearns the rhythms of his old life, working alongside his parents, clashing with his brother, and bonding with his nephew, Jack also faces new possibilities, including a romance with the nurse who cared for him. But as second chances come with their own complications, he must decide whether to embrace the past he ran from or forge a new path entirely. I Leave It Up to You will be released on March 4th. Fans of Reacher will be sure to enjoy Blood Trail by J.T. Sawyer, the second book in the Kyle Payne series of thrillers. Former CIA operative Kyle Payne is riding through the West Coast when he's wrongly arrested for murder in the small town of Absinthe, California. Cleared of the crime, he teams up with journalist Eva Daly, sister of the victim, to track down the real killer. Their search leads them to a sinister agriculture facility and a shocking international conspiracy to cripple Europe's food supply. Guarded by a ruthless drug kingpin and elite German mercenaries, the operation eliminates anyone who gets too close. With time running out and danger closing in, Kyle and Eva must expose the truth before a deadly shipment leaves American soil. In a fight where only the strongest survive, the blood trail is just beginning. Blood Trail bursts onto the scene on March 9th. The Widow's Detective Club is a new, gripping yet charming cozy mystery series from Amanda Ashby. It begins this month with The Widow's Guide to Murder. 60-year-old widow Ginny Cole thought her streak of bad luck was over, until she stumbles upon the murdered body of the village's rude and unpopular library manager Louisa Farnsworth. Has misfortune followed her to Little Shaw? When suspicion falls on the daughter of her friend Hen over an innocent but ill-timed letter, Jenny refuses to let the real killer walk free. Teaming up with fellow widows J.M. and Tuppence, she dives headfirst into the mystery, uncovering village gossip, unearthing buried secrets, and even digging up graveyards at night. But when another body turns up and their sleuthing puts Ginny dangerously close to the truth, she realizes the killer may be closer than she ever imagined. Will her new life in Little Shaw end before it truly begins? Solve The Widow's Guide to Murder on March 3rd. The Ick is a hilarious enemies to lovers romantic comedy by Holly McCulloch. Jem's date with Atlas starts off promising. He's 6'2", blue-eyed, dimpled, and has hands that look built for wielding an axe. But the moment he mentions eating soup for lunch, the dreaded ick hits. Suddenly his oversized backpack, colorful socks, and slightly too floppy hair become unbearable. Jem, a self-proclaimed connoisseur of icks, insists it's her intuition kicking in. Her best friend and housemate Shanti disagrees and challenges her to take part in a psychological study. Is intuition real, or is Jem just self-sabotaging? Reluctantly, Jem agrees, forcing herself to break her own rules, seeing Atlas for a second date, then a third, then a fourth. It's all for research, of course. But as lines blur and feelings grow, Jem faces a new dilemma. If Atlas discovers he's only an experiment, will their unexpected connection survive? Get the Ick on March 6th. Number 1 New York Times bestselling author Sandra Brown returns with another gripping thriller, Blood Moon. Detective John Bowie is on thin ice at the Eau Claire Police Department, haunted by the unsolved disappearance of Chrissy Mellon 3 years ago. When the true crime show Crisis Point prepares to expose the case's mishandling, Bowie's corrupt boss orders him to stay quiet. Producer Beth Collins sees a pattern, multiple girls missing on Blood Moon nights. With just 4 days until the next one, she heads to Louisiana, determined to enlist Bowie's help before the predator strikes again. As they close in on the truth, Bowie and Beth risk their careers, lives, and an undeniable attraction that could change everything. Sandra Brown's Blood Moon will be available on March 4th. The Shots You Take is a sweet and sexy hockey romance about two ex-teammates looking for a second chance. After 10 years away from his hockey career and heartbreak, Riley Tuck returns to his hometown of Avery River, Nova Scotia. But when tragedy strikes, former teammate and one-time lover Adam Shepard reappears, complicating Riley's life even more. Adam's return is filled with regrets. He's not sure he can repair the rift between them, especially with his fame complicating things. But the undeniable chemistry between them stirs old feelings. As Adam helps Riley heal, they must confront their past if they want a chance at a future together. The Shots You Take will be released on March 4th. Woden's Spear is the first in a new epic Dark Age adventure series by Donovan Cook. In 449 AD, Octa, son of a powerful Saxon warlord, faces his first battle with high hopes, but flees in fear, causing the death of his cousin and bringing shame upon his family. Disowned by his father and hunted by his people, Octa is driven by his mother's vision of his future greatness. A chance encounter with the Traveler offers Octa redemption in the form of a quest to retrieve a sacred weapon, the Lost Spear of Woden. To do so, he must journey to Britannia, a land weakened after the Roman Empire's fall, vulnerable to invaders. Joining the warlords Hengist and Horsa, Octa sets out on an epic adventure to forge a new future, fighting for survival and redemption in a land struggling to hold on to its existence. Look out for Woden's Spear on March 5th. Finally, from critically acclaimed author John Bassoff, The Memory Ward is a haunting Russian doll of a novel about one man's attempt to discover what's real and what isn't. Bethlehem, Nevada is a picture-perfect town, always beautiful, always peaceful, with friendly neighbors and no crime. But postal worker Hank Davies begins to suspect something isn't right when he notices a strange detail. The letters he delivers are nothing but blank pages. His unease deepens when a stranger knocks on his window one night, urging him to check behind his bedroom wall. What he finds, a hidden manuscript filled with an unsettling story, pulls him into a chilly mystery. As Hank peels back the layers of his seemingly perfect town, he realizes Bethlehem's perfection is a carefully constructed illusion, and the truth lurking beneath may be more terrifying than he ever imagined. The Memory Ward will be released on March 4th. That's our 10 books for this week. Until next time, you can check out booknotification.com. Book Notification offers an easy way to track your reading lists, follow your favorite authors, and never miss a new release. Our website is completely free to use, and it's packed with features to make your reading life easier. You can follow your favorite authors and get notified whenever they release new books. We send out an email every Tuesday with a list of fresh releases from the authors you love, but that's not all. You can track your reading progress, mark books as read, rate and review them, and even import your data from Goodreads, Calibre, Libby, and more. Want to discover something new? Check out Reader's Roulette for book recommendations, or use our personalized book release calendar to stay up to date with the latest titles. You can even tag books with custom labels, just like on Goodreads shelves, and get tailored recommendations for what to read next based on your current book. Whether you're looking for books in publication or want to see them listed in chronological order, we've got it covered. Plus, all of our authors are audited by real people, so you know the information is accurate. So why not give it a try and join the thousands of readers already using our site to stay on top of their reading game. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back next week with another 10 books.